Hello. So here's a little thought around trying to get a possible analogy for talking about energies, masculine and feminine, these ideas, these two mysterious, complementary, and at times perhaps contradictory energies. Do they have a frequency? Is something masculine and something feminine? Where I'm staying at the moment, house sitting, they have a lovely piano. It's an instrument I don't play, but it is one of those instruments where it's very obvious what the range of notes are, from the very low notes right the way through to the very high pitched ones. And somewhere in the middle, who knows what's happening there. Of course, each musical note has a frequency of its own. It has its own energetic character. Now, I don't think anybody's, to my knowledge, spoken about music as being musical notes being either masculine or feminine. But if they did, it would be interesting to consider what happens around the middle. Indeed, I understand that the alto part that's played in by singers in a choir has actually changed. It used to be the conductors would assign that role typically to the highest male singers in the choir. These days, apparently, it tends to be the lower pitched, the lower voiced females who play that part. So there's clearly a bit of overlap there in terms of where the masculine voice and the feminine voice overlap. But it did get me thinking about voices I've heard in the past that are very reassuring and very connecting for me, and immediately identifiable as either feminine or masculine. And what kind of characteristic, what kind of quality they had about them, difficult to tell. I wouldn't really pin down to things like the level of authority in the voice, both masculine, both, well, in this case, I'm thinking of male and female voices can certainly be authoritative. Both can be very reassuring, but maybe there's something subtly different in terms of the message they're giving, the kind of reassurance, the kind of protection. I haven't quite pinned that down. So I'm just offering this as an open question, really, around how we might think about the frequencies of different energies on a spectrum in terms of whether they're masculine or feminine. But I'm just offering this as an open question, really, something perhaps that might help shed some light on this mystery of how we can determine a difference between different types of quality, that basically everything having an energy or a frequency of its own. Color is another very good example here. So colors each having, and of course, very broad spectrum of myriad colors having their own energies. Could we talk about, as we might do with the piano, the low notes being masculine and the high notes being feminine? Could we talk about colorful, bright light colors being feminine? Well, if we were looking at perhaps some of the thinking of indigenous cultures that talk about Father Sky, the brilliant light of the sun, and the sort of mystical darkness of night and the moon in being more associated with the feminine, then actually there might be a bit of a reversal there between I think what I might be immediately drawn to is more around the colorful and the lighter colors being feminine. But if you were taking that sort of an indigenous approach, maybe you'd reverse that. So again, I don't think with colors we can talk about masculine and feminine, but certainly they can tell us something about energetic qualities. And people who are empaths, who have this sensitivity to tuning into energies, do say that there are different feelings that they have around wearing different colors or being in spaces where a particular color predominates. I did a little bit of experimenting with that myself not so long ago on a trip to Boys Will Be Girls, and put together a little video diary on that. I'll put the link in the description. Anyway, just a little bit of a reflection here. Maybe we can start to think about what are the energetic qualities of masculine and feminine? Do they have frequencies of their own? I don't know. And what on earth happens around the middle? And what happens when you get into this sort of alto range of overlap? Just offering this, as I tend to do in my regular little reflections. Maybe it's something that will resonate with you. It's an open question for me at the moment.